Joy, thank you for coming and helping me out today. So today's exercise, what we're going to start with is rolling up and rolling down. It's a basic exercise for flexibility in the spine. So if you were face forward, we're going to start the movement from the center. So as I touch your abdomen, I just want you to exhale, release your head, bend your knees, and start in your journey down. And you're rolling down one piece at a time. At the bottom of the movement, I want you to straighten both legs. Good. And release down a little further. As you can see, she's very flexible. Everybody may not be this flexible, obviously, so you want to take that into account when you're doing your movement. That you're not actually mimicking her, but you're trying to work the technique to the best of your ability. Keeping your legs straight, pull your abdominal in and take your time and roll up backwards. Your head's the last thing to see daylight. Okay. And as she goes down again, I want to point out something as she goes along. So once again, I want you to start the movement, exhaling from the abdominal, release the head, start your journey down, softening your knees. Good. Now, when I'm going to ask her to straighten her legs, I want her to pull her thigh muscles up. And I don't know if you can see, but she's engaging her quadriceps. She's actually pulling her thigh muscles up as if she's putting on a long pair of stockings, not that I ever have. And she's going to keep her quadriceps engaged so that she can keep her hamstrings fully in a position where they're able to be stretched. If your knees bent even slightly, you will not be able to achieve this effect, and this is very, very, very important. Another thing, before she goes to sleep down here, is I want her to shift her weight as far forward as she can, but keeping her heels remaining on the floor. This change in angle also will put more emphasis on the hamstring and make it a little bit more intense. So if you're not used to the movement, just keep that in mind. It's going to intensify it. Abdominals are in. Exhale, rolling up, taking your time, piece by piece. The head is the last thing to see daylight. If you'll please just do two more so they can see the rhythm and the beauty of the movement. So exhale, release down, soften the knees, straighten the legs at the bottom of the movement. Take the time in between to lengthen so you're not just coming up and down repeatedly, but you're moving with your breath. And roll up. Beautiful. Try to keep the shoulders on vacation as long as possible. Once again, engage the abdominals and roll down smoothly. The timing is very important. As soon as she begins to go down, she wants to bend her knees immediately, and as she comes up, the legs are straight the entire time, putting the emphasis on stretching the back of the legs. Now, when you come up this time, I want you to interlock your fingers, place your hands on the top of your head, and then on your inhalation, stretch up as far as you can, engage, and hope for the best. So, interlock the fingers, place the hands on the top of the head, and stretch up. As she's inhaling and stretching, I'm going to ask her to close her ribs so that she doesn't go into an arched position. So I want you to let your ribs go for a second so they can see what it means. So you can see now that she's actually in a curved position or an arched position, and we don't really want that to happen at this moment. So while she's engaged here, now she's really in a beautifully extended position, and this requires a little bit of work, yes? I know you're in there somewhere and she's concentrating. She's got the whole yoga face going. So now I'm going to ask you to extend your left palm up, bending your right elbow, and exhale. And then change sides. So as you breathe, you push, and as you push, you breathe. Exhale, exhale, inhale in between while keeping the center steady. Now I'm going to move away from you, extend both hands up, and just exhale and relax the arms down. Just let them go. Boom. Beautiful. Now I want you to do it again. Interlock the fingers, engage, stress up, push one palm to the ceiling while bending the opposite elbow, and change. When you're doing this exercise, you also want to make sure that the second time you do it, that whatever pinky was on the outside the first time is now on the inside. So you don't want to have a favorite side. And if you forget which side you've done, just do the side that feels weird, and that's generally the side you haven't done or the side that you don't do. Now that she engages and stretches both arms up and she's got her complete lock, here comes one of my favorite parts. It's called the Scheherazade. So she's ready now. You see, she's anticipating this moment. So you're gonna take your tailbone and you're gonna circle your tail. But the trick is to keep your rib cage still. And this is not an easy thing, as she will tell you, requires a lot of concentration. I'm resisting the impulse now to throw a tickle on her, but we can't do that for the purposes of the video. So I want you to go in both directions. Try to stabilize the ribs, keep the breathing in harmony, and at the end of 3 to 5 movements in both directions, just release and allow the arms to drop. Beautiful. So when we're moving with the breath. As you're going down, you're exhaling. As you're coming up, you're inhaling. When you're moving, you're beginning the movements, initiating the movements from the abdominal. Everything else is relatively relaxed. The thigh muscles are engaged, the hamstrings will stretch. The feet are in parallel, so be very careful in the beginning that the feet aren't turned out or turned in. And generally, you have to look at your feet to make sure, because where we stand normally may not be actually where we want to stand when we exercise. So you have to look at them, bring them underneath the shoulders, in line with the hips, and then you can make sure before you do your exercise that you're in the proper position. So thank you so much.